Hey guys, welcome to another Ikigai podcast. This is the second take of this, god damn it. And this is episode 14, and I'm here with...
Hey, it's me, Brian, back at it again, and today we are also joined by a special guest, Ryan. This is a different Ryan from the one we had February. Actually, Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Nice.
Okay, cool. Oh
He's actually
dear.
just dead. Oh my god, it's just...
What?
uh,
Oh boy, this is
so, yeah, Ryan, do you want to
yeah.
introduce yourself? Anything? Nice.
No.
Nope.
No? Okay. So, Ryan here is my friend. This is very weird. For some reason, I told him to be here. He's not here. God, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, we're here with Ryan. And speaking of Ryan, he's actually quite different in a lot of ways to the other Ryan. Um, as in Ryan, do you watch anime?
No.
Exactly. So there you go, guys. That is the main difference. I don't know why I'm friends with him either, guys. Um, but yeah, due to the month of October, Halloween is just around the corner, and by the time this is actually probably uploaded, it probably is Halloween or past Halloween. Um, so yeah, that is actually very, very cool. And as we go into, I guess, the spooky season of it, I actually thought about something very interesting, and it was about the ideas of costumes, and how
Mhm.
they're kind of like a facade of what we truly are in a weird way.
Mm, right.
Yeah, and so, dude, my mom's fucking yelling. This is ruining my thought process.
Oh
but
no.
but yeah, so um yeah, and thinking about it in that sort of view sense, and as a senior, me and Ryan are both seniors, and thinking about what we want to do in the future, I thought bringing in Ryan was an interesting idea because he doesn't say much of anything at all, in fact. And so I guess the first question is, Ryan, what do you actually want to do when you grow up or go to college, I guess? Please don't leak college.
Okay, so the college I'm going to is um no. So probably be some sort of engineer studying in the field of or in the ocean areas,
Mm,
like
Water.
biotechnology or like bioengineering, something along those
mm.
lines.
Like marine studies, like in
Yeah.
that sort of section. Ooh, that's very cool.
Yeah, and which is funny because me and Brian we have both watched Aquatope Gamma Gamma, which is about
Yeah,
it's
recently.
PA's recent
I
work about.
love Gamma Gamma.
Yeah, see, Ryan says he loves Gamma Baba, but he only like tune in for like episode 4.
Watched 3 episodes.
Yeah.
My girlfriend in there. Woo!
Respect, respect.
But in all seriousness, it's things like that that makes me interested because if you guys, holy crap, my sister's yelling. But but for me, I have a straight thing. I want to be a film major and make the studio and whatever. And then you have Ryan here, who's also a friend I've known ever since elementary school days, and he just wants to go into engineering ocean stuff, which is less concrete than what I have, and I think that's an interesting thing. And often, I think we put up kind of facades. You know what I mean? Like we don't actually
Under what context? Yeah.
under the context of we don't really say what we really want,
Mm.
Yeah.
right? Like
I think yeah. Okay, I see what you mean there.
yeah, like I don't know because Ryan, I assume you have like much more deeper thoughts of why you want to go into engineering, right?
What was the question?
So we often put up facades and we often don't say what we really want. So the question is like why do you want to go into oceans, ocean studies or whatever?
Yeah, what fascinates you about like engineering and like the ocean? Because I know there are a lot of things to be interested about it, but I am curious to see what you think. I guess.
Well, it's engineering is mainly for like stability. Like not
right.
only like money wise, but like I don't know, just like
Yeah, I kind of get what
something
you mean.
secure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also like I guess a pretty useful skill, right?
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, I understand that.
Like yeah, I could go into like probably like commercial like diving or something, but that's like
Mhm.
not as 50-50, or it is more 50-50 than engineering, which is a pretty solid like
Mhm.
90-10.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but besides that, like, what about the ocean
Yeah.
is
What about
interesting?
like the marine aspect?
Just interesting. I don't know, because we only discovered what 5%. We know more
That's
about
true. Yeah.
freaking Mars, Saturn. We know about like more about space than we do, or like our solar system planets than we do about the freaking ocean in
Mm.
our planet.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah.
Right. I see. Along with that, I guess. I think. I mean, this is something that's pretty familiar with what I get from like the like environmental studies and stuff like that. And those fields. I'm guessing you're probably gonna at least try to go into conservation efforts and stuff like that, right? Just throwing it out there. It's just
Yeah, I'll
something.
probably do some,
Hmm.
not like the main focus, but yeah,
Yeah.
if
Right.
something is like there, I'll probably take the
Mm.
chance and go
Gotcha.
for it.
Yeah, because as from what I've seen in college, because I haven't taken classes in like marine studies per se, but I have done stuff in like what's it, similar field, or I've taken courses in similar fields, and there's a lot about conservation and stuff like that. So it's just super interesting, I guess, as well.
Mm,
I remember I will say before I was like pretty big on like the arts and stuff, I was pretty as a kid, I really loved animals and stuff like that. So going into like zoology and like marine studies was always been a childhood, like very very young childhood dream of mine. Before I realized I was shit at science. But yeah, I don't. What was it? It's something that interests me too. I will say so.
Yeah.
yeah. So how'd you get into it? Because, for example, Brian got really into reading, and so he started to write more. And for me,
Mm.
I just really love anime. And that's why I thought, I want to go into the anime industry and editing industry and start doing that. How did you find the love for oceans?
To
Yeah.
be honest, it's probably Subnautica, which I know is
Oh,
weird, kind of.
no, I kind of get that actually. No,
It's
go
like
ahead. Yeah.
like I really I love the game,
Mm.
and I beat it, and then I played the sequel, and I love that too.
Hey, I respect that.
And then my mom also signed me up for scuba diving,
Oh,
and
interesting.
when I got there, I was like, "Yo, I haven't swam in I haven't been in water for like 3 years. I don't know how to swim, and we had to do a test,
Oh,
and I almost didn't pass because I
Uh,
couldn't float for 10 minutes."
I feel that too.
Yeah, but yeah, after like the first day, I was so tired, went like to bed, came back second day, we got geared up, and then boom, already diving. And
Damn.
yeah, it was
Was
just
it?
like I was just like mind blown, like
Mm.
just so like exciting and just like I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was like
yeah.
a moment that clicked with
Epiphany.
you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so wait, so how is diving? Is it how? I guess is it because I've heard some things about it, like
We watched an anime on.
Yeah.
I
What
mean
have you heard? I
um
wanna
Oh.
yeah.
because we also got some from a friend of ours as well. But we've heard like I'm forgetting it now, but it's basically like kind of I guess scary, kind of what's the word for it?
Like eerie?
Eerie is one of them, yeah, but
Spelunking vibes.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's very
I feel it's
what's it?
like unreal, cause like
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
it feels like I would for me what
It's
like
unnatural because
yeah.
you're under the water breathing,
Mm.
Yeah.
and you're like your body like I'll like when I first started diving, they like we were on a platform like probably 3 feet, so it only went up to like my waist or whatever.
Mhm.
They were like, okay, go down, right? Everyone went down, like everyone shot back up immediately because
Ooh, I see.
their bodies were like, "Yo, what is this? I can't breathe underwater. Gotta shoot to the surface." But no, we had a regulator, and you could had a freaking oxygen tank. You could breathe fine.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't as much of that like shock feeling. But the only reason why I surfaced was because I saw everyone else do it. So I was
Gotcha.
like, "Why did we go up?"
Why did we... Oh my god. Yeah, that's interesting because for me, like when I see like I watch survival videos sometimes of just like some random guy scuba diving, fishing, in like Australia or whatever, and like when you go down there, right? Like
Yeah.
there is a floor, but like you're
Yeah.
floating, so like
Yeah.
if you remove all the water, you're technically floating in the air, and that's weird.
Yeah, you're like probably well, actually, yeah. So when I went into the ocean, you have 60, 80 feet of water. And if you're in 40 feet, you have 40 feet above you and 40 feet below you
Yeah.
if you remove all the water. So, yeah.
Flying, baby. Damn, that's crazy to think about. Like
Yeah, it's actually really cool though too, isn't it?
yeah.
Just the idea. Although I hear what's it? Things about. Oh, I think water pressure was also something that I noted.
Yeah.
It's a super weird sensation to feel. I think, right?
Not really. It's kind of like the plane, but actually, yeah, no, I think it's like pretty similar. It does the pressurizing with your ears.
Oh, right,
Oh,
yeah.
I
But
hate
for me,
that.
I don't feel it on my body. Maybe some people do, but I just never noticed it, or I just don't feel it. I don't know.
Okay, right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think for me and Brian, I think like the big killer question that we always ask ourselves is, or I guess we don't always ask ourselves, but when me and Brian, we both watch anime, and when we watch it together and we see like this incredible thing, like obviously I don't think you would understand, not in like the condescending
Yeah.
way, but like when you see like, you know, for example, the little character interactions, like a side character interacting with someone else, I guess is the
Yeah.
easier way to do it. For me and Brian, it's more about the little details about the animation and about the sound and stuff like that in the story. And for us, we're always like, holy shit, we can't do this, right? And like we can't create something like that. Do you ever have like that feeling, or like what's a feeling that you can't really, that just makes you like, you can't, you know, like you just feel like you just can't say it. You're just lost for words.
Yeah, you feel almost, I guess, not inadequate, but like, it's a daunting task in front of you, I guess.
I don't think anything really.
I
don't
respect the
think-
confidence. I respect the confidence.
No, I don't know. I
Uh,
don't think that's ever happened to me
Mm,
before.
I
yeah.
see. So is it just being able to see all the pathways in front of you, I guess, and be like, yeah, I could go.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it more of an acknowledgement of, I guess, already knowing what's in front of you, or is it just going with the flow, whatever happens
I
happens?
think
kind of
it's like I know what's in front of me, but I'm also going with the flow.
thing? I see. Okay, so a bit of
Yeah.
both. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now,
'cause,
here's an interesting question, right?
Mhm.
And this is actually something that me and Brian always ask, and that's, why does that actually matter to you?
Wait.
Like
What?
why does being able to feel that flow, and like also seeing the path matter, in a weird sense, if you get what I'm saying? It's very
So
weird,
like
but
seeing the path keeps like organization kind of, right? So
Yeah. Right.
like you know the direction you're going, you just don't know exactly where.
ah,
Yeah, so it's like you're in the big bubble, or like I don't know, you're in the what the hell do you call that? The freaking tree, guys. What do you call it?
The branches.
No, the other part, the
leaves?
main part.
oh,
Oh,
the trunk.
The trunk.
Yeah, the trunk. Yeah, See, you're like in the trunk of the tree, and you can see the branches. Like you can
Oh.
see the different paths and the different branches,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can like pick which branch you decide to go on, and then which ones from there, and on and on and on.
Wow, that's interesting because
Yeah.
obviously you won't get this right because I'm talking about a lot about anime, But it's kind of like Brian, Mirai no Mirai, when the kid like sees like
Yeah.
the family stories and like how they
Yeah.
branch out.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I see it like that. I think that's really interesting because I don't know, because for me personally, like I think that's cool, but it's nothing breathtaking to me at least. I don't know if you feel the same way, Ryan. If like that image to you is breathtaking, or I guess what makes you appealed to that image or to that thought? I don't know.
I think it's just like I don't know. I don't know. I just see it and I'm like, yeah, that.
Is it like some sort of freedom?
It might be. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Mm. Yeah, because I know for me and Brian, we always love looking into like the little details of like as analysis. I don't know what the right word is. Critics,
Yeah.
reviewers of like shows and media, we always like to find why things feel the way it feels. And
Yeah.
I think some like I don't know like and this is kind of like the main reason why you're also here is that I don't know how other fields take these sort of ideas and information and like how it's used because I just can't understand it because I'm an artistic person. Not to say science isn't artistic, but I'm very artsy and like, oh wow, gotta look at the themes, English
Yeah.
class,
Yeah.
woohoo, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, like on another note, I remember I was talking to Thomas. He's also one of our other friends, and I was watching a video about objective or subjective versus objective. Uh, I don't know if you know what that means, but I think most people do though. But I
Yeah.
was watching a video on objective versus subjective, and I remember him asking, "It's not that deep." um, and and then I sort of came up with like this idea that like everything does matter, right? And so, is there something that a lot of people kind of like look over when talking about science or whatever that you think is important to you?
Not off the top of my head, no.
But is there a thing though, or do you
I'm sure there.
believe?
I'm sure there is something, but I couldn't tell you this second.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it's interesting to think about. I don't know. I don't know about you, but for me, it's always like a looming thought of what other people think, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because for me and Brian, we've always been subjugated to, oh my god, you watch anime, what a loser. And Ryan, you have been that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
It's also been a subjugation of, I guess, not being able to understand the art, and it's like a deep desire to be like, bro, it's like you need to because like all especially even in college you'll hear people like, oh I like anime this way. Oh this style feels weird to me or something like that. And while those are subjective opinions, and that's absolutely okay to have, but it's like what does that provide in a discussion in a way, right?
yeah.
And I guess that's again as Kevin I guess previously mentioned, it's kind of the difference between I guess how should I put the arts and sciences in a way. Not saying that again, not saying that they can't mesh. They certainly do in many areas, but it's just for in this case, there's a you could see that there might be I guess how should I how should I put is the word derive? No, not derive.
Math?
Deviate. There we go.
Mm. Yeah.
So I guess that's what we were trying to see if you had any, I guess, feelings about how people view science as well, or
Yeah.
I guess in this case, view engineering and marine biology, stuff like that.
Yeah. Because you're taking an oceanography class, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that class? Because I'm taking creative writing and I'm also taking photography. obviously I'm not as good as photography as I am in creative writing, but in creative writing, I feel like I'm a god. Uh, how about you in like oceanography? I know you have like Thomas in your class, so it's like probably a lot more fun. But are there
Yeah.
like parts that you actually take very seriously?
Yes, actually, there was actually probably the things that like the we watched Blue Planet episodes, which
Hell
like
yeah.
yeah, like exploring Earth's oceans, and I really do like them, and they are very interesting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like what was it about?
The one that I watched today was about the deep and
Oh.
like all the creatures and stuff that are down there and like the ecosystem.
Mm.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, you want to play with them? I don't know. Discover them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to like go down there and see them. It'd be like really cool and interesting and stuff.
Mm.
Mm, yeah.
So yeah,
I
I'd
guess in
like
a
love to
weird
see it.
sense, what I'm realizing now is that a lot of what people do is just exploring, right? Like
Yeah.
whether it's exploring the
Mm.
ocean or exploring different themes and certain
Or new
medias.
ideas, yeah, right.
That's actually quite interesting. Oh my
Yeah.
god, we should make that an anime. But
That's-
yeah, I mean, I guess speaking of anime, uh, I'm actually quite curious about this, and because I know even though you don't watch anime, Ryan, you have technically watched anime.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and compared to back in middle school where you bullied me about it, how do you actually view anime nowadays?
I mean, now it's like, yeah, people watch it. I personally like don't like the style of it.
Mm.
Mm.
Maybe if I watched like a lot and I was like, okay, yeah, I like this style or like this, but I've only watched like what, three?
3, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a big
pool,
like pool, yeah, to choose from
Mm. Yeah.
and to judge from. So
yeah.
Mhm.
I know you
Right.
get like recommended stuff, like you got recommended Attack on Titan, right? Uh,
yeah,
does that
but
actually affect how like you view a show going in?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. Yeah, because that's a thing that happens a lot.
what like
Whether or not you like.
recommendations?
Yeah, like do you get like a so for me when for example if Brian recommended me to watch a certain show, right? I would be inclined that it's very interesting, right? And I'll trust him on that. But for example, if you take like some random kid Joe Schmo off the street and he says watch Squid Game and I watch Squid Game, I'm coming in there thinking this is probably dog shit, right?
Yeah,
So how do you like yeah.
How do you
yeah.
take recommendations?
Coming from like close people, like friend, like you guys groups, I would say, yeah, I'd probably like it since you know me well and you like know what I like and dislike
Mhm.
fairly well. So yeah, I would say like yeah, I do take into account like recommendation factors from who and like yeah.
Mm.
Mm. All right. Do you
Interesting. Oh, I guess I have a quick note. So real quick, um, I'm actually friends with Ryan's older brother, who also doesn't watch a lot of anime, at least to my knowledge. But what's interesting is that he got recommended stuff from his friends, and he was like, "Nah."
Yeah.
But I'd like to brag that I recommended him something. Devil's a part timer, and he was like, "Yes."
I think I
So,
actually watched like an episode with him and I was like, that's boring. I stopped watching.
interesting. Yeah. Your what's it? Fun fact: your brother likes a lot of from what I could tell, reverse isekais, which is
I
Oh.
have no idea what that is.
So,
Okay,
to
yeah,
I
you
guess
got
to
it.
sum up very quickly, because I'm actually planning on doing an essay about this at some point too. Um, the reverse isekai is basically okay. So I should probably explain what an isekai is, which is basically someone from the real world goes into another world, basically.
Oh,
Whether
okay.
that's like the video game world, a new fantasy world, or something.
Okay,
The
so
reverse
it's like the
isekai
devil
is the
going
opposite.
into the
Yeah, right.
no.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I yeah. He
Yeah.
explained like what the story was, and I was like,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, so from that you'll actually get very interesting things, right? Because isekais are like oh, it's an escape into reality, from
Yeah.
reality, or it's like, oh, a chance to start over. Whereas in reverse isekais, it's what makes humanity so special or so interesting, I guess, because it's like, oh, you have these gods, you have these dragons, you have the devil himself just coming into the world and finding himself in some place that's very unfamiliar and very what's it? So I guess that's like a tenet, I guess, of the reverse isekai that I've noticed, and this goes into ideas, genre expression,
Hey,
but
yo, don't spoil it. Nah.
and I'm sure Kevin and I will talk about it at some point. Probably not this podcast, because it's about you, Ryan. So
Yeah.
I guess Kevin, you had a question, right?
I totally forgot about it, but I mean, okay, actually, Ryan, you actually say you like to watch dubs a lot more than subs, which is obviously
Yes.
I'm not hitting on anyone, but is there like any particular like actual
I'm
reason?
lazy.
Okay,
Mm.
is
Like
that-
literally, I am lazy. So I want to be able to do other things
Hmm.
while I'm watching.
Ah.
So
I
like,
get
okay, when
that,
I'm watching
yeah.
Squid Game, I tried it, and I did do it. I watched it in Korean, and I had to like actually focus and read the captions.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
for like Money Heist.
Mhm.
I watched that in English, but it's in Spanish. I can
Right.
alt tab and do other things. I can do
Yeah.
homework, and I can
Right.
still know what's happening based on like sound. Well, I guess sound is
Information.
sound, and then
Hmm.
the English voice lines,
Yeah.
which I can understand. So I can like piece together like, oh, okay, blah blah blah. They're doing this.
Yeah. That logic does
Yeah.
add up. Yeah.
That's
definitely.
interesting because I know me and Brian, we actually, we are actually. I mean, obviously, we're very focused when watching anime, which is actually quite
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
That some people just don't do that, which is not a bad
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Honestly.
definitely not a bad thing.
Just goes to show that.
Oh, whoops.
No,
Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Should we run it back? Run it back?
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
But yeah, I'm losing my train of thought now. Oh my god. But I don't. What the fuck was I gonna say, dude?
You're talking about focus on stuff
Yeah.
and-
Yo, please
yeah.
don't steal last.
Oh god.
It's fine. I gotta think about this one.
we lost all our train of thought with that.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, if you have any questions to ask us, go ahead. While I try
Yeah.
to think of
Well,
some.
I mean, I don't
something.
really have any.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing interesting.
Nope.
Like, why I like anime? No.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, it's not about you, Kevin. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
Kevin. God,
I'm
look
just
at
giving
me.
you an
I'm the guest. Come on.
Yep, this is my friend, by the way. But I guess in terms of things, if you were to actually, is there any point of a show where if it actually got like serious, like what extent of seriousness does the show have to go to actually make you like focus on the show?
I really don't know.
I think
fine.
I think that's a very subjective question.
Yeah.
I think, Kevin, because it's what's it? Because at that point, it's just based on how engaged you feel,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you personally feel with the characters, with the setting, with the show, right?
Yeah.
And I think that can mean different things. Like I mean, for example, Aquatop, right? You said you watched the first 3 episodes. How engaged were you with that in comparison to?
I was
Like-
doing my homework.
Okay.
Always homework.
So it's like even with that sense, right? It's like
Yeah.
there are different. It's that clear emphasis on you wanting to do other stuff while
Yeah.
watching a show, which is very difficult. I could understand with anime because
Yeah.
either the dubs are garbage or the or what's it? There's
Only
a lack
subs.
of them. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, not only subs. Some dubs are good.
Yeah. So like when I was watching that, I was like, wait, what just happened? I did that like what, Kevin?
I don't know.
Twice, 3 times, something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But
And I
yeah,
know I did it. It
that's
was like-
interesting.
and then Kevin paused and was like, blah blah blah. Explain.
Yeah, it's an
Like,
interesting
okay.
take on, I guess, on
Media.
perceiving anime, yeah, and media, because obviously we view it from the perspective of an artist, as well as a more invested audience, I guess, which I
Yeah.
guess does alienate a lot of other people when it comes to that perspective, which
Yeah.
I think is
Maybe,
very interesting.
maybe that's why Girls and Panzer works so well.
Girls and what?
Don't worry about it.
My favorite show. But wait, what do you? I'm actually curious about what you mean by that. I feel like this is going to alienate Ryan, but I am curious
Uh,
about what you mean by
well.
that.
But what I mean is that like it's super lighthearted, right? So you can technically take your eyes off of it if you're like a fluent Japanese person that understands it. Like you can take your eyes off it, or you can like do something while like you're watching. Like I think even if like
And you
you're
wouldn't be able
watching
to
the
miswatch.
sub,
That's true, actually. That is true.
yeah.
I,
Like,
I get what you mean by that.
so
Now that you mentioned that.
so, but it also has like its deep components, right?
Well, okay. Only I've been able to see the deep
Okay,
components, but
like think about that, right?
yeah,
That doesn't really alienate any audience
that's true. Yeah, that
because
is
you
true.
can like do homework, look up, and see, damn, they're in tanks.
Yeah.
But anyways, back
But yeah,
to
back to
Ryan.
a topic that Ryan would probably
Yeah.
be more interested in. Um.
I
So
actually have.
actually,
Oh, you
yeah.
want
Go
to go?
ahead.
You
Go.
can
No,
go.
no, no. You go. You go.
Okay. So me and Ryan, we and a couple friends, we actually watched Venom. Venom 2, Venom Carnage. Same
Yes, I
thing.
heard about
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
They're all the same movie.
Yeah. So my question here is because I've been thinking about this like a ton, but and Brian can attest to this. But how do you feel? So you know how a story is made, right?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
like rising action.
Oh yeah,
conflict.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah. Like narrative structure.
So
Yeah.
how do you feel if someone scrapped that and then made a story based on a character instead?
So in essence, when you pulling the focus away from details like conflict, rising action, stuff like that, but then instead being like this is like I guess a documentary on this character. I guess is the best way to put it.
I think it'd be like as an own movie or just a part of the movie.
Own movie.
Own movie.
I think it'd be like a good side. Maybe not like the main thing, but I don't know. It depends on like how important those details are.
Right.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Because it could be just like, oh, side story, whatever. It's like a fill, right? Like a
Yeah.
fill movie. But
Mhm.
or if it's something like actually important, like oh, something brother is alive actually, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like yes, big, important thing. Then yeah, I'd say it is like important.
I see.
That's interesting because for me, is theorized the right word? I guess not.
I would say I would call it a theory. I would call it a theory.
Yeah, but I theorize that a lot of American films follow the narrative structure, which is quite obvious, right?
Oh, that okay? No, that's a
Yeah.
hypothesis. Yeah,
Yeah.
hypothesize. Yeah.
So I hypothesize that, right?
Yeah.
And Ryan, you obviously watch like a lot of Marvel movies and
Yeah,
whatever, and like can you attest that like there's always like a conflict, a rising action, whatever, right?
yeah,
And like it always feels set, right?
hmm
And I hypothesize that is actually what makes a lot of American films kind of boring in some sense.
yeah. I can see that
And so
because it's like the same thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And like you get kind of tired of it, right?
yeah,
But when you go into like the viewpoint of making the story based on a character, or not based on, but focused on a character instead of like a plot line,
hmm
it creates this sort of new feeling. Like for example, if you were to make a show based on, for example, you, right?
yeah,
Like as like a normal person, right? You would be like, okay, I gotta find a conflict in my life and make a story around that, right?
yeah,
But instead, what happens if we take like a certain feeling, like for example, like we talked about how you like the ocean, right? And why don't we make that into a story with a cohesive plot line? So first you find that interesting part in someone's life, and then you make it into a plot.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily about the conflict here. It's about the development, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the best way to put it. So, and I guess in that sense, for us, it's both a critique on, I guess obsession over narrative structure, and a praise towards things like, because a lot of anime will actually do this. They will instead of being, and a lot of shows that are like, about slice of life, will focus on characters rather than have a quote unquote plot. So I guess that's I guess what do you I guess knowing that now, or at least knowing our opinions on that, what's your idea towards that, I guess, or if it's any valid, or
I think
you
it's
know
valid. Yeah. I mean,
pause.
yeah. I mean, something like if it's like I said, if it's important, then I would say, yeah, I'd probably watch it. So yeah.
I mean, you watched Attack on Titan, right? Do you know the ending, Ryan? I forget.
Yeah. After Aaron spoiled it.
Go.
But so if you compare like Venom, right? What happened at the end of Venom?
Good guys won.
Okay, I kind of want more, but that's fine. That's fine. That works too. Good guys won, yes. And then look at Attack on Titan. What happened in the end?
Good guy died.
Okay, that's not what I was looking for either. So something happened with the main character, right? In both shows, right?
Uh-huh.
But one of them just won, right?
Yeah.
And like, woohoo! Now they're gonna save the day again, right? In the next movie. And in Aaron, or in Attack on Titan, at the end, the most important thing that everyone looks to is Aaron, right? And how, oh my God, he's doing this thing, right? This action, right? But then when you realize that, holy crap, the plot line isn't about Aaron, becoming a Titan to say and being a martyr, right? It's more about him developing those feelings first, and then being able to be like, we can't start this war. We can't keep warring over things anymore.
Yeah.
So that's like an actual like example of how I kind of see character being more important than some plot line sometimes.
Okay, well, how about this? I did enjoy Attack on Titan, so I'll throw that out there.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Don't forget the spoiler tag.
Oh shit! Spoiler tag. But yeah, I think it's interesting because it's just something that people don't look at, right?
Or at least not a lot of people decide to take the step forward to look at, and obviously for I think very valid reasons. For you, it's it's not about it's just there to be good in the background, I guess, which is again that's a fine thing. But I'm sure there are a lot of people who sympathize with that as well or share those feelings. I certainly love just listening to random shit in the background, but it's like for me and Kevin, who especially like to go deeper into these things, it's I guess it's not important to do so, but it is nice to be able to, I guess.
It's about understanding a feeling.
Yeah, because for a lot of anime, they really try to reach out in a way and try to say something. Whenever it's about our world, whenever it's about humanity, or how we view certain things. Whenever that's people, that's the world, that's where we live, our families, etc., etc. It's just and I know Kevin was, I think, kind of pushing this because he loves to do it, and that's like East versus West films.
Okay, I don't love doing it. It's just that that's the only like tangible thing you can do. You know what I mean?
Right. I but it just so happened to fall under that.
My bad.
Yeah, no, but it's like I mean, it is, I think, valid to point out at least some distinct differences, at least between American production and Japanese production. Although then again, you are also, oh yeah, this is it's a hard sell because it's also like, you have animation versus movies,
Yeah.
live action movies,
Yeah.
which is very
Yeah.
popular in the States, versus anime, which is very popular in Japan.
And because
So,
the productions are different.
but if we were to compare those, it's like I guess it's interesting to see those differences and what emphases are put on culture and the entertainment industry as a whole. So
Yeah.
it's like, so I do get where you're coming from, and I do get why it can be interesting to see these viewpoints, because you'll see one side, which is Hollywood, which focuses on, well, you said, I haven't watched Venom, but from what you guys said, the good guy wins and continues on, indicating that, there's potential for another movie, which will then make profit, right?
Yeah.
And then
So true.
versus and anime does the exact same thing too. And I'm not saying that there are any. I'm just drawing lines where I see them. I guess none of these boundaries are hard boundaries at all. But then you'll go into certain anime, I guess, especially the experimental ones, and you'll see that instead of trying to make money per se, the director, the writers, the animators have a very distinct goal of trying to make an art. And this is something I like to press on specifically for anime,
Of course.
and that's rarely do we ever treat. We say that I actually, maybe even film in general, I guess. Rarely do we see them as, okay, no. So we have, they are of course art. Of course they are art, but rarely do we treat them like that, right? And I talked about this with Kevin before, where it's or at least in a general sense, we rarely treat them as art. We'll talk about, maybe an old book or like this photograph, and we're like, yes, this photo makes me feel something, or this book, yeah, I understand why it's art, right? But then it's like films. There's some in a general consensus, I guess, and it's like very difficult to, how should I put it? See those aspects. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something I thought was, I guess, worth mentioning, because yeah, analysis is very, very few and far when it comes to I get the general public, the general audience.
Yeah, like
yeah,
like the common people.
yeah.
But honestly, we haven't hit the hour mark. But Ron's got to eat with your grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. You're gonna leave at like now or 5?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Um.
So I think we'll wrap up fairly soon.
Yeah, we can wrap up in like 5 minutes.
But in
Yeah.
any case, I guess, is there anything you wanted to specifically express or talk about after hearing all of this? I guess, or at least not defend, but offer a different point of view towards that, because this is all coming from someone who is, I guess, trying to be an artist, right?
Yeah, with a lot of bias.
Yeah, with a lot of bias. So I'm wondering if you have something different. You know.
Not really.
God damn it, Ryan,
my
you're as dull as
criticisms
ever.
my criticisms are.
Well, I also only heard like half of it
Yeah.
because
Your parents.
my parents.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
understandable. But also, what I realized, thinking about us watching Venom, is that Ryan, you actually invited us to watch Venom.
Yeah.
But you also said this is like not to like put you on the spot and be like, "Ha, gotcha, loser." But to point out an interesting detail, I guess, is that like we went out to a movie theater to watch Venom, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't like pull out and do homework during the movie theaters, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can, but like so, like, why watch a movie in the movie theaters? Like for you.
Ooh, we got him.
Oh my god, we killed him, boys. That's probably just.
What was the question?
Yeah. There we go.
So you know how like you said you like to multitask when watching a show or movie or whatever, right? But then like, what's the point of us going to why did you invite all of our friends to watch Venom in the movie theater if you can't like multitask?
Well, because that one is more for me like interesting,
Mm.
and I actually would focus and pay attention and see like the things that are going on
Yeah.
rather
I
than
see.
having it like as a background thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why you actually like that film more than others? I guess.
Um, I think just like the story is different. Like a parasite, like the symbiotic relationship between the like Venom and
The man.
yeah, Tom Hardy.
Boy.
I forgot what his actoring name was.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
You. Yeah, that's a
I know it's Tom
problem.
Hardy, but I don't even know what the guy's name is.
Yeah,
In
that's
the
a
freaking-
problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that film, you don't even know the guy.
Well, you're supposed to watch. I think the first one, Eddie Brock.
Eddie. Eddie.
Eddie.
But yeah, that's interesting. Because like a lot of these questions are kind of like blandish, I guess, to a lot of people. I don't know, because
Yeah.
like this is probably one of the more blander podcasts, mostly because we have you, Ryan. No offense, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
But to me and Brian, I think it's a very interesting thing, right? Where like
Yeah.
we
And
can
we're
take
learning
this-
about new perspectives, and that's important for us.
Yeah, and of course, who fucking knows? I don't think anyone here watching cares about marine biology. Watching.
Yeah, and anyone watching cares about it, yeah.
But
But you should, but
but I don't know. It's interesting, right? I don't know. To me, it's interesting. I don't know about you, Ryan. Like, if you
yeah,
find that
if this is at all
interesting to you.
I mean, there were some parts that were interesting. Some parts I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, again, I think a lot of this podcast is tailored towards like people who are actually like invested in learning about certain things and like seeing like the little intricacies of things. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you actually watched like a podcast episode, Ryan, but like I know Kenneth has said it's boring. I know Sebastian said it's boring. Because we usually just talk about the same thing. There's no like big kaboom
I watched
kablam.
for 2 minutes and then closed it because I got bored.
Exactly. And like, of course, yeah, it's probably a boring podcast for a lot of people, but I don't know. It's a niche thing.
yeah. We talk about very niche topics that not a lot of people are either invested in or particularly interested.
Yeah. And so I guess my question to you, Ryan, is like, how do we make it better? And I guess, and I know you don't understand like the niche things, right? But I guess to put in your perspective, right? Like if you were to make a podcast about talking about like marine biology or engineering about that, right? And it's like super niche, right? And like you're talking about like, you know, what I don't know what they talk about. Like certain
The
fishes.
differences between
Yeah.
studies,
I guess like
studies,
species and like
yeah,
Yeah.
species,
interactions.
yeah, possible theories on what
Yeah.
certain creatures may inhabit. Yeah,
So I guess the main question is, do you think? Okay, well, first part is like, do you think what we're doing is like, is it actually like nice to have like if you were to like find a podcast that's like this but more in your alley, do you think it's like a nice thing to have? And also, okay, I was gonna.
that was quick.
Second part is, how do you think do we make it more accessible? No, it's not. That's not the right word. More open and less gatekeepy to a wider audience.
I think that's just like a 50-50 thing because there will always be someone who's like, I hate everything, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I don't really know how you would do that. Maybe like talk about I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like we don't want to talk it down, which I imagine would be the easiest thing to do, right? It's like, oh, I like how this movie did this thing, you know. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
or like, oh, watch what everyone else is watching, because we don't want to. I'm not saying stoop down to that level, but I don't want to like talk down about what we talk about. I guess because I think personally, I feel like we raise interesting issues or interesting perspectives. So it's
Awareness.
like, yeah, awareness about how we view media, I guess. So it's like, yeah, it's just, I guess it's just something that's both interesting to note as well, and I can see why this is difficult
Yeah.
for all of us to think about. I guess it's
Yeah.
not just you, Ryan. Trust me.
Yeah. Don't worry. We got a big
That's
fucking
why we're
algorithm
asking.
problems. Yeah, that's why we're asking for your existence. But also like why I decided to take you on to this podcast in October because like I don't know a lot again. It's back to like that thing where like a lot of people just wear costumes and sometimes hide the things that they don't really want to show within a costume. And I think
Yeah, but then
it's
it's
nice to
like,
pull out that mask. You know what I mean,
yeah,
right?
not only pull out the mask,
Yeah.
but see how much effort they've gone through, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's, for example, someone may have made the costume, and it's like interesting to pick out details, such as picking out um, what interesting aspects of your life happened and how that circumstance comes to pass, right?
Yeah.
Um, or it's like, why wear the costume at all, or et cetera, et cetera. It's those interesting aspects that we see as writers, as artists in a way, because then that all contributes to a wider understanding of how we want to see the world, how we and translating that into art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our like creative process right there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how well that translates into a scientific aspect, but it's just
Yeah.
something.
mean- Yeah. I mean, I assume you're working hard towards like whatever you want to do, Ryan, right? And like, do
Yeah,
you ever
definitely.
feel like it's ever downplayed?
Maybe sometimes, but like I don't really think so
Hmm.
for the most part.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That's it.
But
Yeah.
like, I don't know about you, but like, of course, like I for me personally, I want to share like the things that like I'm thinking about, but like again, it's like sometimes I just can't, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like the same with you because I know you're always quite reserved in talking about like real life things and more talking about oh my god this League of Legends patch. But I mean I don't know. For me, I like these moments sometimes.
I think I do that mainly because it's like
Nothing much
you
else.
guys wouldn't find it interesting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
Because like okay, I can be like, oh, I can talk about like all of the ocean that I want, and you guys would be like,
That's
so I
where
just
you're
wasted-
wrong.
That's where you're wrong, bitch. Gotcha.
I mean, if we had more time, I wouldn't mind actually like listening to it because again, this goes into what Kevin and I believed, and again, this is also something we talked about before. When it comes to writers and artists, they need to be smart and for obvious reasons, but not just for those obvious reasons. It's also to gain a better understanding, to be able to of people, to be able to get a better understanding of the world, and by doing that, we can and we could do that by listening to what other people are passionate about. So, I mean, if you ever get on this podcast again, if you want to talk about ocean stuff, it's like, go for it, man. It sounds super interesting.
yeah. I mean, I can talk about like my entire freaking experience of like basically where we started, like first starting interest to like up until now.
That would be really cool, man.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, dude. Because see, now that I'm realizing, we probably should have went into that just your story, but no, we just went on a
Honestly, yeah.
tangent.
Yeah,
It's kind of our bad.
yeah,
Sorry, we tend to do that a lot, by the way.
yeah.
But definitely next time.
Yeah.
When the time comes. But
Yeah.
for now, again, thank you everyone for whoever is listening to still 3 Asian guys. Just one of them is
Yeah.
half Asian.
Yeah.
But
2.5 Asian guys.
mathematics, baby. But wherever you are in the world, thank you for watching. That is your Ikigai. And rip on the fuck is he doing? And I'm Kevin. I'm signing out.
This is Brian signing out.
Ryan, you want to say any last words? Woo!
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank you all for watching. Peace out, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.